Hi, my name's Phil. I like talking about politics, and in this video I like to discuss what on the face of it looks absolutely barking mad. And given the way the Tory election campaign has been conducted so far, you can't rule it out. But it may also be a sign that perhaps Tory strategists are capable of thinking after all. I am referring to a campaign session by Rishi Sunak today in Wimbledon. Now, what's wrong with that, I hear you ask? Well, I hear some of you ask. The problem is that the Tories have no chance in Wimbledon. It's probably going to be a Lib Dem win. If anyone's fighting them for it, it's Labour, not the Tories. The Conservatives will almost certainly finish in third place. Now, during a general election campaign, the leader can only visit so many places personally. It makes sense to visit as many of the key battlegrounds as you can. There could easily be 150 to 200 of these. You know, you might visit the odd stronghold if you need a bit of respite for a photo opportunity in a very supportive area. Doesn't make sense to visit an area in which you've got no chance at all, unless it is to associate yourself with a project there which might be of national interest. What Rishi Sunak has done here after his day hiding from the campaign trail altogether yesterday is to immediately go to an area where his party are certain to get their arses kicked. It would have invited a majority of very negative views at the doorstep. It won't have been a very nice session for him if he indeed did knock on any doors. Sounds mad, doesn't it? But is it? Because I think it was yesterday I said, the dilemma for the Tories is that Rishi Sunak is really bad at engaging with people. Their awareness of this was highlighted on Thursday when Sunak visited a biscuit factory, but they had to get two Conservative councillors to dress up as factory workers to ask him the questions. So they know they want to avoid letting him talk directly to voters in an uncontrolled environment. However, they can't let it look like Sunak is hiding from the public. They want to publish lots of photos and videos of him going out and about so that no one can accuse him of hiding. The trick is, how do you manage this Schrodinger's box of a campaign where Sunak is both engaging with voters but kept well away from voters? I wonder if this Wimbledon visit was how they're thinking of managing it, because the Tories have got absolutely no chance here. So it is safe to let Sunak loose on the public there. As long as he doesn't do or say anything really stupid that ends up in the national news, there should be okay. He can cost them as many votes as he likes in Wimbledon because there's no contest there. Much better than letting him loose in a tight battleground. I mean, think about it from the point of view of the local Conservative candidate in a knife-edge contest. It's winnable, but tricky. You're trying to emphasise your local Conservative credential. Your literature probably doesn't even have Conservative blue on it. You're distancing yourselves from the national leadership as much as possible because that's really unpopular. The last thing you want is Rishi Sunak turning up on your patch and pissing off all your voters. So maybe they're doing this as a way of getting all the photos of Sunak on the street, but not letting him walk the streets where the votes actually matter. Because the only alternative is to suppose that the Conservatives do not even know where their crucial battlegrounds are. As useless as they are proving to be, I don't think that can be true. I think they must know where their key battlegrounds are. So maybe this is a case of the Conservatives actually thinking strategically and doing something that at first sight looks a bit mad, but maybe isn't that mad after all. Which may well be the closest I come to praise for anything the Conservatives are doing in this campaign, so make the most of it. Mind you, the only way this potential strategy makes any sense at all is by admitting that their leader is so toxic to the public that he may only be let loose in areas where any damage he does won't actually harm their overall electoral chances, because those chances are already through the floor in places like this. So if we summarise the story of today, first of all, the Tories announced their national service policy, which I must apologise and say I got slightly wrong. So just to correct, young people are going to get a choice between full-time conscription in the army or part-time slavery, 1 weekend a month where they do community service, which is unpaid labour, so slavery. They announced this in the hope that it would kickstart their election campaign after a disastrous few days last week. However, browsing the Twitter sphere, most of even the right-wing commentators are against it. Many of them have torn it to shreds. They're very against it. So if the Tories can't even get most right-wing gobshites to speak supportively of it, they're not going to make a wedge issue with Labour over it. In addition, it actually helps Labour because this weekend, Labour were talking about giving young people a bigger voice by dropping the voting age again. The Tories were promising to force them to choose between boot camp and slave labour. And then Rishi Sunak, when his party are facing tough contests in a lot of areas, and they've got way over 100 candidates still to select with less than 2 weeks to go before the deadline, and he chooses to spend his time campaigning in a place where his party have zero chance of winning. I'm not sure that day off with his advisors yesterday has done him any favours, if I'm honest. As soon as he's popped his head back out, he's been instantly ridiculed again. But there we are. Those are my thoughts. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe for further content and click the like button. You can also sign up for memberships if you'd like to support the channel further. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'll see you later. And don't forget to register to vote and get voter ID sorted.